All right.
Do you want to put the picture back in? So this is our agenda for today. I know you guys have probably been looking at it for quite a while.
We won't see ourselves. It's okay.
So I am Maureen Gridley. I've met most of you. I am the Instructional Technology Integration Specialist for the district. Hi.
And I'm Brenda All-Claben. I'm the director of the Syracuse Teacher Center, and I'm helping out with this initiative.
So Manami will hand it over to her when she gets on. But for right now, anyone that is at a school should sign in the sign-in sheet. There's one facilitator at each school who has the sheet, so you can go see them tomorrow to sign it. You could also sign it at office hours this week or next week, and we will go over all of that in a minute. If there's multiple people participating right now in your room, we would like for the facilitator to put their names in the chat window.
Yes, the first and last name in the chat window, which you should be able to find if you scroll to just move your mouse and hover it down towards the bottom of your screen, and you should see a button that says chat. If it's not there, you can put your mouse up at the top of the screen. It depends on your type of computer. And then you should see the chat window, and you can just type in who's in your room. I see some people have already done it. Excellent.
Okay. Thank you, Jen. Okay, thank you, Heather.
And if they're going to view the webinar offline, then they're going to complete some kind of a reflection and then turn it into their facilitator. We'll be getting to that in more detail coming up. It's recording, so we can watch it later.
Oh, right, okay.
All right. I'm just going to minimize this here.
Do you want to tell them about the hand raising?
Well, we don't have that feature here, but if you have a question, you can just write your question in the chat window, and I'll be monitoring that, and we'll address those questions at the end of the webinar. We'll try to get to all of them. That's about the best way, rather than having everyone talking over each other. So just put your questions in the chat window, and we'll get to them as soon as we get to that part of the webinar. All right.
Okay, so
we should unmute where Manami is. Where is that? So we can hear her.
I do not know where Manami is. I don't know if she's in yet. I don't think she is.
Okay.
She will be in soon, hopefully.
Okay, I'll keep watching that part. You go ahead. All right.
Okay, so we are going to stop sharing that screen, and we are going to start sharing another screen. Okay, so the Learning Technology Grants. These grants were awarded through the New York State Department of Education, and we received three-year grants. The first year needs all of the hours need to be completed by the end of the school year in June. Next year, we will have from July 1st until the end of June, and same with the following year. So the year 2 and 3 are going to look a little bit different than this year. This year, we're just trying to teach teachers some fun technology tools and have you include them, incorporate them into your lesson plans, and then teach the lesson, reflect on it, and then you will be compensated for that lesson. So we basically will be paying you to improve your blended learning practices. Instruction, since there's 6 schools participating, so there's 3 grants, and Bellevue and Van Dyne are grouped together in one, Franklin and Huntington are grouped together in one, and Weeks and Meacham are grouped together in another one. That does not really impact you guys, but there are 6 different schools participating, and you're all the phase 1 schools. So that's why instruction is going to be provided via webinar, because we can't physically get to each school. In addition to that, we will have office hours at each school. There will be a facilitator at each building who will be the point person for signing timesheets, making sure people are participating, answering questions, supporting you. I will be at 3 schools' office hours each week to provide the same thing, to support you, answer questions, help you with lessons. And then teachers can make appointments for me, Manami, or Brenda to come to your classroom to help you either teach the lesson, help the students work through using the technology. We're anticipating that there will be a lot of great instruction going on. So we would like teachers to invite us in to take videos, small videos of some of what's going on, like best practice videos. So that's
Right, that's part of the chunk of the evidence for the grant that we need.
and I kind of want to just see if Manami is in yet. I'm sorry. Okay. So this is the webinar schedule. April 12th is today. Welcome to LTG. Next Monday, we will be doing Symbaloo lesson plans. So we will walk you through using Symbaloo lesson plans. And then the expectation is teachers will incorporate Symbaloo lesson plans into their instruction. They will share the lesson with us and they will be compensated for it. If you would like to do multiple lessons, you will receive 2 hours for each lesson you submit. And we will be available for support. So will the facilitators in your building. May 5th is Ed Puzzle with the same format. And once you do Ed Puzzle, if you would like to submit lessons still using Symbaloo lesson plans, that's fine. Same thing with May 18th is Educreations, May 31st is WeVideo, and then June 15th is we will teach you various Web 2.0 assessment tools, but you are welcome to use any of these tools in your lesson planning. With that being said, you can also do lessons right now using Symbaloo or BlendSpace and be compensated for those once you submit the lessons.
That covered it.
Okay. This week, we will touch on this in the end, but this week, a lot of our communication and sharing will be done via Office 365. Bellevue, Huntington, Huntington, and Van Dyne have all been trained in Office 365. Franklin, Weeks, and Meacham have not yet, but we will go through that. We will support you, and you will be compensated to be trained this week so that you can use Office 365 with us.
That's right.
So the whole idea is to support blended learning. We are all aware of the benefits of blended learning, personalized learning paths, smaller groups, more individualized learning, meeting the students where they are academically. So this grant is these grants are a wonderful chance for you to be compensated for things that you're already doing in your classroom. These are the compensation details, which we already covered, but you will be paid for 1 hour for the participation in the webinar or the viewing later on. If you do not view the webinar live, you will have to reflect on the webinar and provide some kind of reflection to your facilitator. That will probably be done through Office 365 after this week. A lot of communication will be done via Office 365 after week 1. Office hours are optional based on need, but you can come to office hours and get paid for an additional hour. And then your lesson plan creation, delivery, and reflection will give you 2 hours. So we will pay people until the hours are gone. So we do have a lot of hours to use, and I don't foresee us running out anytime soon, but just keep that in mind. I would submit lessons as you complete them so that you can be compensated appropriately. Okay.
That's it.
This is the office hour schedule. We asked schools what the best days would be for them. So Christian will be at Bellevue on Wednesdays. I will be at Dr. Weeks on Mondays. I will be at Franklin on Tuesdays. Denise will be at Huntington on Thursdays. However, that might change because Denise might want to do her office hours on the day of the webinars. I mean, that's up to you, Denise. We can talk about that further later on. I will be at Meacham on Thursdays from 3 to 4, and Jen will be at Van Dyne on Thursdays. Does anybody have any questions about that? No,
Go up to-
we have some
You're
chat going
going to
on.
take questions now.
Every Thursday is good. Okay. Can I email a PowerPoint to everybody? Yes, the PowerPoint is actually available on Office 365. So you will have all of this. I can share it via Office 365. I could email it to everybody as well.
Yeah.
But you will have, once you're in Office 365, you will have access to all of this information. Does that help?
Right. We have a Google site. We have a
Mhm.
notebook that's going to be shared with you. So everything that we create will be shared with you. But we just have to get everybody trained on Office 365.
Right.
What other questions here we have?
Is there a max number of lesson plans? No. Until the money runs out, and we will look at the lesson plans. We will provide feedback. You cannot just keep, I mean, the lesson plans have to be different.
Right.
But if you learn Symbaloo lesson plans next week and you want to run with it and use it for all of your science lessons for the remainder of the year, go right ahead and submit all those to us, and you will be compensated as long as there's enough money. The PowerPoint will actually be in, we will have a staff notebook. The reason the blended learning document was unavailable today is because we shared it, but we did not mean to share it. Manami, my supervisor, will add people. Oh, Manami's here. Yay.
All right.
So she is adding people now. So that is why I don't have the rights to add people. So it was shared by mistake.
Yes.
And then I revoked the rights.
Right.
Sorry.
So it'll be corrected.
Yes.
And it is a 3-year grant, and usually there will be the full year. All right. And where is Manami? Want to unmute her so she can say some things here?
We would love to unmute Manami.
Where is she?
There
She is. All right. Manami, do you have anything to add?
I do. The only thing I just want to remind people that it is a 3-year grant. We were supposed to be awarded this in December, and it is now April, which means we have 2 months to use up the same amount of money that we would normally be using over the course of a year. So next year there may not be as much money, but it will be paced out much more reasonably.
Yes.
Okay.
And by the way, it's not too late for people to join. If you can get as many people to join as possible, we really want as many people in every building participating, because it just makes it more exciting for everybody, and it helps kind of build momentum around blended learning. Somebody's yelling at kids in the library.
It's all right. We just had a riot outside our doorway.
Seriously.
So they all visited in my area. All right. Are we done with all of these here? Are we done with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is really a great opportunity to be compensated for things you're already doing, because you're all blended learning schools. So as Manami said, the more people you can recruit, the better. And you guys can work together. Somebody did ask if you co-teach, can you submit one lesson? We would ask, that would be great if you co-teach and co-plan together, but we would like 2 lessons for 2 hours for each of you. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Here's another question.
So the question, I have teachers who are K2, which is not doing blended learning this year, but will do it next year. Is it okay if they use,
They
if they
create.
create? Yes. Nami, that's a you question, but
Yes, it's fine. It's, we, just because you weren't an Apollo teacher does not mean that you cannot participate. We really want people to start, everybody should start dabbling at least. So I think that's great. Next year, everybody will be full launching anyway.
Excellent. All right. Are there any other questions out there?
okay, I'm going to go back to our agenda.
Feel free to mute me if you need to.
Okay.
Okay.
We probably will not. Okay, so we just went over everything really quickly. So now would be like the question and answer portion, which is kind of what we're doing already. But before that, does anybody have any questions about the grant details? I mean, I guess this would be the question and answer part. But I would try to go kind of like in order. I was going to try to go in order.
Did you want to discuss how if they view the webinar offline on their own time, we need evidence of that. So they're going to complete a reflection. And we're working on that on whether we're going to have you do it in a staff notebook or if we're going to have you do it in Word and then share it with a facilitator. I'm not sure if we've.
Manami, do you have an opinion about that? How people are going to reflect on the webinars in order to get paid?
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys have seen the classroom notebook yet, but in there, under your name, there's going to be, well, you're going to add a tab that says reflection, and you'll just do it in there.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yes, it does. Another question here. Can related studies teachers write lessons for the stipends?
And it sounds more confusing than it actually is.
Anybody can write lessons, Christian.
And what's this one?
Do we fill out a sign-in sheet and a time card, or do we just sign in with Justin tomorrow? Every facilitator, the facilitators in each building will have sign-in sheets. So I can send Justin a list of the Franklin people so that he knows who participated. So you can go see him tomorrow to sign in. Anyone else have any questions? Will facilitators be able to see these reflections in the notebook file?
Yes,
We will give you access. Yes.
unless you don't want to.
We want you to, though, Denise.
Yes.
Yes, you do need to see that they watched. So we can give access to all 6 facilitators.
Mm-hmm. How long should the reflections be?
I mean, that's
Just enough to
We
show
will-
that you've.
Approximately a paragraph.
right.
Okay, there we go.
There you go.
All right, well, there
Our
any more?
facilitators doing time cards or just passing? Facilitators sign the same sheet as your staff for office hours and for the webinars.
So what we do for the facilitators, we just put a star next to it and we write presenter above their name. And that's how special programs knows that it's the presenter rate versus the teacher rate.
Okay.
Have you shared the due dates yet?
No, we have not shared that because a lot of them have been trained
Okay.
in Office 365. Do you guys want to move over to Office 365?
Sure, let's do that.
Yeah.
Looks like questions have set somewhere down here. All right. This is Chrome.
Okay, so this is my Office 365 account, for those of you that have not been trained. And we can walk you through signing on. And I can forward the training materials to everybody. So there is not a quick link right now because not everybody has access to it, but once more people are using it, we will have a quick link. So we tell people to just go to Google and type in Office 365 sign in.
And it's a good idea to bookmark this so you don't have to do that each time.
Because the first screen will not look like this for you. It will ask for your username and password, but all you have to do is put in your entire district email with no numbers at scsd.us. So mine would be mgridley@scsd.us. You hit return and it redirects you to our page, and our page actually says fs and then .scsd.us. This is where you would put in your username and password. I would tell you guys to pause this if you're watching it recorded, but once you get in here, this is all in the recording. So the Office 365 screencast is actually in our videos, and it's accessible by everyone in the Syracuse City School District. So once you're in, you click video, and then you go to channels, and you go to Learning Technology Grant Webinars, and here's our video, which is pretty easy. Your facilitator can provide you with handouts that go along. Sorry, that go along with this tutorial. And Manami, they can be compensated for this training this week.
Yes.
All right.
Does anybody have any questions about this?
If we wanted to get started with messing around with Symbaloo, how do we do that?
Okay, so we have a blend space for you for Symbaloo, and I can send everybody the link to that. We also have a blend space for Weebly EDU, so you could do that as well for your lessons for this week. Right, Manami? Is that?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
So really, if you wanted to do, I mean, how would it work, Manami, if they wanted to do all of it? If they've never been trained in Office 365 and they wanted to do that and start with Symbaloo?
Then they would get paid for, how long is Office 365 training?
I think the actual training is about a half hour, but they have to pause throughout it. So
An hour for the webinar, an hour for that, and an hour for Symbaloo.
Okay.
Okay.
Does anybody have any questions about that? No? Okay.
All right. I think
So this is our OneNote. This is our blended personalized learning notebook. And all of this information is in here. Hold on, we have a question. Do we do the Office 365 training on our own time? How do you know when we have done it? So that would be an additional webinar. So you would watch it, ask your facilitator for the materials, or ask me. I mean, we can give it, Brenda, or I can send it out to you.
Mm-hmm.
And then you would have to do a reflection so we would know, and then you could sign for that.
Basically just a paragraph saying that you viewed it and what you thought about it and how it's going to impact you, and that's it.
We'll be able to tell if you do the Office 365 training because you have to follow people. And to practice, you should probably be sharing documents. So Brenda and I are good people to follow and to share with.
And we'll see.
And they should do a reflection.
Yep.
Yes. All right. Anything else? No?
Here is the welcome, the overview in class notebook, well, in our OneNote. And then here is the introduction and the Office 365 training. I'm going to minimize this. And this is the whole training in Office 365.
And once you're in, you can print that out if you want to, so you have a hard copy. You have access to all these materials.
Manami, you're adding people to this?
I'm doing it right now as we speak.
Awesome.
All right.
So the optional week 1 tools are in this second tab right here, or the second page, I'm sorry, in the webinar section. And you can actually click on the links to walk through the Symbaloo or the Weebly. Come on. I promise I did it. It's in there.
It's loading.
There we go.
It is.
So if you've already been trained in Office 365 and you are comfortable using the tool, please feel free to explore the following tools, either blend space. So you could share what you create in blend space with us by grabbing the shareable link. And then there is a blend space for Weebly for Education and for Symbaloo. Does anybody have any questions about this? Christian, the Symbaloo training next week is actually Symbaloo lesson plans, which is slightly different. So yes, it is on for next week. It's just a little bit different. Anybody else? In each week, we will put in what we are teaching you guys in here. And then here's some frequently asked questions. So these are questions that were sent to us by people in the district who are talking about participating. So do we have to watch the webinars live? No, the webinars will be posted in the video section of Office 365 under the Learning Technology Grant channel. Is there a deadline for watching the webinar? Manami, that's a you question.
As long as it's done before the due dates, it's fine.
And we will share the due dates with you guys. Do you want to take over, Brenda, and read these?
Okay. Do teachers have to participate in all the webinars or just ones they find interesting?
They can participate just in the ones they're interested in.
Okay.
And they can, if they decide, they can watch all the webinars and only want to use one tool and create lesson plans based off of that tool, and that's fine too.
Okay, I'll add that in a second here. Our windows moved around. Someone's playing. They're drawing on our thing.
Oh, really?
Yes. And can we just watch the webinars without completing the lessons?
Yes, but you have to write a reflection so we know you did the webinar.
Right. All right, got that. And how many hours will teachers be compensated for each week? I think we covered that. All right. And can teachers submit multiple lesson plans using the same tech tool?
Yes.
All right. And can teachers who co-teach together submit lesson plans together? And we covered that as well. that they can, yes. All right, are there any other questions out there before we wrap this up?
Everybody, I'm sorry.
Sorry, go ahead, Manami.
I was just gonna say, everybody should have received a link in their email to the OneNote, the blended learning, blended personalized learning grant.
Yep.
If you haven't gotten one, can you shoot mtezuka at scsd.us and email so that I can add you?
Okay. And there's another question.
Okay, so are there specific due dates for the lessons? Yes, the specific due dates for the lessons, I actually will add a little, I will add a page right here so you guys can see how that's done. So in lesson plans, I'm going to add a page and then due dates. So you can sign in for webinars and you can sign in for office hours to get paid for the lesson plans, since you will be doing it on your own time and we don't want to have any like conflicts with other after school programs. We have set up the following due dates as Saturdays. So you will go see your facilitator on that Friday, Thursday or Friday, and sign in. So if you completed 3 lessons, you will sign in for 6 hours. If you completed 2 lessons, you will sign in for 4 hours, etc.
Yep.
So the first due date is April 22nd, then May 7th, May 21st. They may seem a little weird, but we have spring break. So there's 2 weekends of spring break that we can't use. And then there's the long weekend, Memorial Day is the long weekend. June 4th is another, and June 18th. So, Manami, do you want to elaborate on that a little? That they don't.
The due dates?
They're not actually coming to work those days.
Oh, yeah, sure. So these are all Saturdays, and what we're doing is your due dates for everything is by the date there. And they're Saturdays so that you're not double dipping with other things that you may have going on. And what we'll do is each location, so whoever your facilitator is, like for example, if it's Huntington, it would be Denise. If it's Meacham, it would be Kristen Duffy. What you'll do is you'll go to them and sign for the number of lesson plans that you've submitted. And Maureen and Brenda are going to be typing up those timesheets, and they'll look at the lesson plans and type up how many hours for each person. And you'll sign those, and then they'll send them in to me, and I'll sign them and give them to special programs. Does that make sense? It sounded kind of nonsensical. Somebody say something.
It makes sense to us, but we're the only other people that are unmuted. So.
Right. They can add, if that doesn't make sense, you can add that to your chat window if you have any questions.
Yeah. So for example, if I did the webinar and 3 lesson plans, then Maureen or Brenda will be looking at your OneNote notebook where you will have put your lesson plans, and they will count them up, give you some feedback, type up the timesheet, and send it to your facilitator, who will then print it out, and then you will sign.
We have a question. The lessons being submitted electronically, they're going to be going into the notebook. You're going to add a tab or a section underneath your name.
Can you guys see our screen right now in Office 365? Manami, can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. So Kristen, Manami was just with Kristen, so I'm assuming that Manami added Kristen and then showed her how to add her lesson plan page and her reflection page. So Manami, Brenda, and I, and all the facilitators can see all of your pages. So when you submit a lesson plan, we can go in and see the title of the lesson plan and then the lesson. So you will just add a page for each lesson. So if you have 10 lessons at the end of this, you will have 10 pages right here. And then reflections, if you watched all 5 webinars, you would have 5 reflections for the webinars. You should also do reflections on your lessons. which can be as simple, what would you change, what went well. We can provide some prompts for lesson reflections, but those reflections are part of the 2 hours that you're being paid for each lesson. Does that make sense?
And the reflection for the lesson should be done after the lesson is taught.
Right.
The reflection for the webinar is simply watch the webinar, and it's as simple as, this is a great tool, I can foresee using this for blah, blah, blah.
Does anybody think that this is asking too much, or is anybody overwhelmed? I mean, this is when you should be asking questions, because we have Manami and all of us here. We met and we thought it was pretty fair. You could do units, which would be more lessons, but that's why we would be using Saturdays, because you could submit a whole unit and you would obviously be compensated appropriately.
I saw another question up here. Let's see. Okay, we'll do that. I plan on using the plans in my other schools. That's okay, correct?
So who is this? Holly McCoy. You have multiple schools, Holly?
Yes.
I think that would be fine. If you are split between a blended learning school and a regular school, you can certainly use
multi-levels. Yes.
Absolutely. Manami?
Absolutely, no problem at all.
We would love, blended learning is great, so we would love for it to spread, and it's actually going to be spreading across the district anyway. So. All right, who else? I think Kelly raised her hand. Did you see that? Does Kelly want me to unmute her? Is that what she wants me to do?
Good.
Kelly, did you want me to unmute you?
That might have been an accident. No, I'm good. Aaron's asking all our questions that we have.
Okay. All right, I'm going to mute you again. This Kelly, was it you that raised your hand?
It was. I'm working on an iPad and I'm just whatever having trouble figuring out how to type with it. So I accidentally raised my hand thinking I could type up.
Okay. Are you okay? Do you have a question?
Nope, just playing.
Okay, great.
Sorry.
So that's okay. So you download the app. It went okay?
It's awesome, except
Great.
I can't type a question. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to remute you.
Thank you.
Okay.
So Brenda and Maureen, if you refresh your notebook, everybody should have a section in there.
Let's
All right,
see.
let's see. It's
Look
magical.
at that.
Oh.
Yay. Look at you guys.
If you don't see your name there, please email me so I can figure out why.
This kind of looks like the list that I sent out. You are missing some that I can send to you, Manami.
All right.
Okay, so back to these questions. This one. Are we able to share lesson plans with each other? Oh, wait. Wow, we have a lot of questions. Hold on. Do we have a due date for people to watch this webinar? I think it would be April 22nd, Manami.
Yes, April 22nd.
If we did a lesson on SimBlue lesson plans, but didn't get it done until April 22nd, can we submit it on May 7th? Yes. The SimBlue one for week 1 is not SimBlue lesson plans. It's just straight SimBlue. SimBlue lesson plans is a different tool using SimBlue. But once we teach you SimBlue lesson plans next week, if you would like to continue using it, you can submit more lessons using SimBlue lesson plan. This lesson just has to be different. The content has to be different. Are we able to share with each other? Absolutely. Once you're in Office 365, that's one of the most powerful things about Office 365. You can share your documents with anybody in the Syracuse City School District. So we encourage sharing amongst teachers.
So you can probably see in the top right corner where in this notebook that we're sharing with you, it says share, the purple button. You just click that and type in their last name, and then you can add them to share your lesson plans. And that's all they'll see is that page. That's all they'll be able to see, I guess.
So how do I train? Okay, so somebody wants to train in Office 365. There is a screencast in Office 365 in the video section. So you would go to the video, you would log in, like we just showed you. And if you need help, your facilitator can help you, or you can email me or Brenda. You log in and you go right to the video section from the waffles. So waffle. So this is your waffle. You click on your waffle and you click video. And it's in there under the blended, or the
Learning technology
Learning
grants.
Technology Grants. It's a channel. I'm sorry.
You go to channels and then you'll see it there.
Okay. The lesson is separate from digital content that we will be creating on these websites. Is there going to be a way to attach digital content? Erin, I'm not sure what you're asking.
I think if I understand correctly, so the attaching the digital content would simply be a link within your lesson plan.
Okay, so if she wanted to share her blend space with us, is that what she's asking? Does that, or her Symbaloo or whatever? Yes, so you would put your lesson plan in underneath your name and put your lesson plan in and just include the shareable link.
Yep, you can put links and
Put whatever you want.
Yeah.
Okay, Denise, there are a lot of people who will be participating but not live now. They are not added to Office 365. Want me to send you a list, Manami? Yes, she does, Denise. Please do that. Like the symbol I've created. Okay, so we're good. Erin, Denise, we're good. Okay. Does anybody else have any questions? For those of you watching this recorded, we're sorry that it's kind of all over the place. We have a lot of questions coming in. The future webinars will be more instructionally based, more like a screencast with a question and answer portion at the end.
Yeah. Live ones are always, fun. All right.
Does anybody have any questions?
Feel free to email us if you do. Things will come up as we move along with this, and just shoot us an email and let us know what you need.
And please invite us in. You can make appointments during your planning time before or after school. If I am your office hours person, please come and see me if you have questions. But again, all three of us are available by appointment. Also, your facilitators in your buildings are wonderful and very knowledgeable.
All right.
And this is a great opportunity, so recruit as many people as possible.
Yeah, we have about 4 minutes. But...
We are going to run out of time because Zoom, we get about an hour. And we started
Well,
right
we
around-
can take longer, but I just think seems like it's quiet out there, so.
It does. Thank you, Holly.
All right. Well, that will conclude our webinar for today, and thank you very much for viewing it, and let us know if you need any help.
Manami, do you have
Okay.
anything to add?
Nope, I think I'm all good. I think the only thing would be to make sure everybody knows how to upload a document, which would be your lesson plan, to OneDrive, so that you'll be able to provide that lesson link. But I'm sure that's in your...
That's in our screencast.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. That's it. And get as many people as you can to participate.
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
End your recording.
Sorry.